This is Bob Maloney from MyMMAnews.com, and this weekend I will be at the Tropicana Casino Hotel Resort for Ring of Combat 78, and my guest today, Armando Gjetja, the Albanian, is coming to the cage again looking for his third win. Armando, before we get into the fight talk, let me say thank you for giving me some of your time. I know listen, the fight game sucks sometimes. They found you an opponent at the last minute. I'm happy that you still had to get in there. How's camp been despite the last minute headaches? And I'm happy you're getting in there, but how's camp been for you so far?
Hi, Bob. Now, first, let me say thank you. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure being interviewed by you. And look, camp has been good. Beside the whole last minute replacement, everything has been going pretty well. I think I'm getting a whole better and better and better after each camp of how my body works, and I go through that in a different way. I think 90% of the things that you do outside of camp are the ones that are going to actually lead you long term to certain goals. So understanding how my body works, ups and downs, the weight cut, how it reacts to dropping a certain amount of pounds in water or not. So I feel very, very confident. I feel good. I've been performing really well in the past 8 months. And I don't think it's going to make a difference having a different opponent at this point.
Armando, I remember what your last fight. You kind of did some cross training over there at Sarah Longo. Have you done more of that? Talk to me about who you worked with for this camp, getting ready for the fight.
Oh yes, I have. I completely moved to law. I'm there every day, working with Ray. It's a different total energy. Like I really needed that. Ray keeps using the metaphor of getting back with the pack, and probably that's what I needed. I needed a room. I needed a group of people seeking the same goals.
Hey, and listen, and when when you're looking around the room there too, I mean, you're talking about guys who were in the UFC. I mean, the list goes on and on. I'm sure when you're sparring and you're getting rounds, you're like, there's no easy rounds for you over there, I guess.
Oh no, it's we're pushing. We're definitely pushing every day. And I don't feel the anxiety. I actually feel more. It's more of a mental support because I'm like, hey, I'm here. I'm doing it. 6 years ago when I moved here, I will keep repeating myself. Listen, let me just have one pro fight in the US and then I'm done with it. Now, fast forward 6 years, like goals are much, much different.
Listen, one of the things I love talking to you about, and I want you to also, the Albanian community, like there's like a group of Albanian fighters right now on the regional scene. We got Lenny Rafati, we got yourself, we got Dennis, who I'm talking to later, Vilson. There's such a strong core of guys who you consider like brothers and family. Talk to me a little bit about that. I mean, do you like talk to these, even though you may not train with them in the gym every day and you may not be doing rounds with them? Do you talk to those guys on a regular basis? How does that work? How does that support system work with the other Albanian fighters and brothers who are, some of your best friends?
Oh, well, continuously we are in contact. We talk to each other. Dennis, we are. I'm in his home now, like training every day. So it's a different thing. But when it comes to Lenny, Vilson, we always get together if it's at least once a month, once every couple of months. And not only the fact of being Albanian gets us together, but that immigrant thing in us, or being kids of immigrants, that gets us together. So it's like when you see somebody pursuing the same goal, it just opens up to me when I see any other Albanian kid trying to get into MMA. Like I'm just happy seeing you. I see now we're not that famous for going and looking for a sport career, because of course once you cross the ocean, the very first goals are get a house, get a car. That's the American dream. Go to work. And you've looked at in a little bit in a different way. It's a little bit like, oh yeah, you're dreaming. That's what they keep telling you. But so when you see a guy your age or younger than you, they're getting into your same thing, it just opens up your heart, and like you want to help them as much as you can. So I think that's what the key is in between us. So we help each other with the smallest thing, as little as buy this brand of supplements because I think it works better, or go and do jujitsu there, go and see this video for this kind of guillotine or this submission, or how to escape.
I think it's very unique because I don't, I don't want to say click in a negative way. I mean it in a positive way, that you have that band of brothers for more support on top of, your teammates in the gym. And I love that about you guys. And, your people always make the events. The Albanian people are loud and boisterous and supportive, and I'm sure you feel that. And it's one of the when I see one of you guys on the card, I'm always happy because I know it's going to be a lively crowd. And let's talk about your fight, okay? Armando, normally if you know who your opponent is for a few months, you kind of can this guy, his strength is jiu-jitsu, this guy is a striker. You can kind of sort of, do a little bit, even if you don't have a lot of film on that guy, you can still kind of know what to expect when you're getting in the cage. Now you're taking a fight, Pinky Zimmerman, who is stepping in on a couple of weeks' notice. How do you and your coaches attack that? You mean you really don't know much about him? Do you guys try to scramble and see what film is out there on him? Does the plan change at all? Talk to me a little bit about what goes on between you and your coaches when you have to take an opponent at the last minute like you have.
Well, the first thing I can say about in this case is my opponent has a pretty extensive record. He has a total of, if I'm not mistaken, 15 fights. So the very first thing was, of course, I'm very logical. I'll start looking at wins, losses. How did he win all of his fights? How many losses? And then I start tracking all the results that are in common. If he won the same way multiple times, more than a couple times, then I'll start studying that, and I start looking for tapes. So pretty much it's the same thing as just of a normal camp. It's just that we have to squeeze it in a few days. And I fought taller guys than me previously, and I feel it's probably because the way I fight, I feel very comfortable with tall opponents. So I already have. It happens that they propose him, and it falls into the range of how I like to fight and how my style is, and it's just going back into my files and pull out a file, and I already have a plan.
Excellent. Once again, Armando Gjetja, and he is heading the ring of combat, looking for his third straight win, and he's an exciting southpaw who brings tons of energy, fantastic striker. Listen, I know that you always told me that your grappling is a little underrated because you prefer to stand and bang. That's one of the reasons you're such an exciting fighter. If you want to give out some shout outs or some love to sponsors or friends before we go, Armando, the time is yours.
Well, I'd like to just specifically thank my team, my new home, Law MMA, all of the guys, because they've been nothing but more than helpful. Every single guy, and they opened the doors. They helped me get back. Sometimes they tell me I'm my worst enemy because I overthink. So getting with them, training with them got me right back on track.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, Armando, looking for your third win in a row. I know that you have your sights set on, larger goals. Once again, thanks for giving me some time. Best of luck the rest of this week with your weight cut. You're a veteran now. I'm sure it's going to be a piece of cake.
Thank you, Bob.
Pleasure to talk to you, man. And like I said, best of skills, best of luck on this fight week. And thank you for giving me some time. I will see you in Atlantic City. Always a pleasure, Armando.
Likewise.